Good morning everyone. I am Dr. Shakila, Assistant Professor of English, 3rd Standard Fireworks, Rajratnam College for Women, Sivagasi. In today's session, we are going to explore The Hound of Baskervilles, one of Arthur Conan Doyle's most celebrated detective novels. This work combines elements of mystery, suspense, and gothic horror set against the haunting backdrop of Dartmoor's moorlands. What makes this novel particularly striking is the way Doyle blends rational investigation with the suggestion of supernatural terror, making readers question what is real and what is imagined. Let us begin by looking at the central incident that sets the story in motion. The story opens with the shocking death of Sir Charles Baskervilles, a wealthy baronet. He is found dead near the gate of his estate under mysterious circumstances. Though his body bears no visible injuries, his face is frozen in an expression of terror. Nearby investigators discover large paw prints, not of a human but of something much larger, suggesting the presence of an enormous hound. The local people, deeply superstitious, begin to whisper about a family curse and a spectral beast that haunts the Baskervilles lineage. This combination of mystery and superstition sets the perfect tone for the investigation that follows. Dr. James Mortimer, a close friend and family physician of the late Sir Charles, visits Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson at Baker Street. He brings with him an old manuscript that narrates the legend of the Baskerville curse. According to the story, centuries ago, Hugo Baskerville, a cruel and immoral ancestor, kidnapped a young woman who escaped across the moors. In his pursuit, Hugo met a horrifying end, supposedly killed by a demonic hound that appeared out of the darkness. Since then, the family is said to be haunted by this supernatural creature, and every heir who inherits the estate faces a tragic death. Dr. Mortimer believes that Sir Charles' death might be linked to this ancient curse and seeks Holmes' help to protect the new heir, Sir Henry Baskerville. Holmes, ever the man of science and logic, listens carefully but refuses to accept supernatural explanations without evidence. He begins by analyzing every detail: the manuscript's authenticity, the physical evidence found near the body, and Dr. Mortimer's account of the family history, etc. Holmes' guiding principle: the world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes, defines his approach. While intrigued by bizarre circumstances, Holmes decides to take up the case determined to uncover the truth hidden beneath the superstition. This marks the beginning of one of his most famous and atmospheric investigations. Soon, Sir Henry Baskerville, the last known heir, arrives from Canada to claim his inheritance. Before he even reaches Baskerville Hall, strange incidents begin to occur. An anonymous warning letter urges him to stay away from the moor, and mysteriously, one of his boots goes missing. These odd details convince Holmes that Sir Henry is being targeted deliberately. Holmes devises a plan. While he conducts a secret investigation in the background, he sends Dr. Watson to accompany Sir Henry to Devonshire to observe events closely and protect him from harm. This shift in setting from London's urban world to the wild and desolate Dartmoor deepens the suspense of the story. The novel frequently returns to the legend of the hound, which functions as both a symbol and a source of fear. Hugo Baskervilles' sin, the curse that followed, and the supposed sightings of a gigantic, glowing hound over generations keep the family under constant psychological torment. And every mysterious death strengthens the villagers' belief that a supernatural force is at work. Doyle uses this legend not only to create fear but also to contrast reason versus superstition, a recurring theme in Sherlock Holmes stories. Now, the narrative perspective shifts primarily to Dr. Watson, who writes detailed reports to Holmes about his observations at Baskerville Hall. Watson explores the bleak and treacherous moor of Dartmoor, describing them as desolate, haunting, and filled with secrets. He interacts with the local residents and servants, maps the dangerous terrain, and keeps a close watch on Sir Henry. The moor itself becomes a character, a mysterious, unpredictable, and symbolic of the unknown forces at play. Watson's reports show his dedication but also his growing unease about the strange happenings around them. During his stay, Watson comes across several puzzling encounters. First, there is Sheldon, an escaped convict hiding on the moors. His presence adds another layer of danger. Then Watson spots a mysterious man observing Baskerville's Hall from the distant tower, whose identity remains unknown. He also meets Mr. and Mrs. Stapleton, naturalists living nearby. Mrs. Stapleton secretly wants Sir Henry to leave the moor, implying she knows something terrible. These moments heighten the sense of tension and build toward the revelation that the danger is not supernatural but human in nature. Eventually, Holmes reappears, revealing that he has been secretly staying near the moor, conducting his own investigation all along. The so-called spectral hound is uncovered as an enormous mastiff painted with phosphorus to make it glow in the dark. This discovery completely destroys the illusion of the supernatural. Through logical reasoning and scientific observation, Holmes demonstrates that what appeared to be otherworldly terror was in fact a calculated act of deception. The triumph of rational thought over superstition lies at the very heart of this novel. Finally, Holmes exposes the mastermind, Jack Stapleton, the apparently harmless naturalist. He is in fact a distant Baskerville relative, plotting to eliminate the rightful heirs so he can claim the family estate. Using the ancient legend as camouflage, he trained the hound to attack on command. When the truth emerges, Stapleton flees into the Grimpen Mire, a treacherous swamp where he meets his death. Holmes' deduction not only saves Sir Henry but also restores logic and justice to a story clouded by myth. Through this resolution, Doyle reinforces his belief that rational thinking can dispel even the darkest fears. To conclude, The Hound of Baskervilles remains a timeless detective novel that bridges two worlds, the rational and the mysterious. It showcases Arthur Conan Doyle's mastery in balancing suspense, psychological depth, and detective reasoning. More than just a crime story, it is a story of how fear and imagination can distort reality and how logic and observation and courage can ultimately reveal the truth. And thank you everyone for listening.